Hi, I'm Tracy Mitchell. I'm one of the RHS counselors. Today we're going to start the process of choosing your classes for the 21-22 school year. Usually we would do a grade level meeting in the lecture hall, but this year we're unable to do that because of coronavirus. So instead we're going to show you a presentation and then we'll meet with you individually to finalize your course request. Hi juniors, today we're kicking off the process of choosing your classes for the 12th grade. First thing I want to have you do is join the Counseling Center's registration classroom. The course code is in red. It is CSC 437K, and you're going to use this to access all the information that you need for course registration. We also want you to use the course catalog. So the 21-22 catalog is available online, and it's going to have your graduation requirements and all kinds of course information for you. A little tip, when you are going through and you're trying to look for classes, if you're flipping through the book and you can't find them, go back to the index that starts on page 102, flip through that, and you'll find an alphabetical list of courses. So let's say, for example, you want to learn more about psychology. Go to 102, flip through to the P's, find that course, and it'll tell you exactly what page number to find the course on, and that'll keep you from feeling like you've got to read everything cover to cover. A little bit about your graduation requirements. As you guys know, you have to have 24 credits. You have to have 4 English, 4 math, 3 science, 3 social studies, 1 PE, half health, half fine art, half oral comm, half career tech, and 7 electives, and that totals 24. Remember, you do not have to have foreign language unless you are trying to graduate with honors, and then it is required. But do note that a lot of colleges enjoy seeing that you have taken 2 to 3 years of an advanced language. Also, by the end of this year, your 11th grade year, we want you to have at least 16 and a half credits to be considered on track to graduate. We actually prefer 17. That puts you in a better spot for senior year. If you're less than that, then what we'll do is we'll work with you to help you recover credits so that you can hopefully still graduate on time. If you want to be an RHS honor grad, first of all, you need to graduate SmartCore, and that means that you have had a math higher than Algebra 2 and that you have physical science, biology, and chemistry or physics as your 3 science classes. And there's 3 levels of honors. You can graduate with honors, high honors, or distinguished. Honor grad requires at least a 3.3 GPA, and you have to have 2 years of the same world language, and you have to have AP courses. So to graduate honors, you need a 3.3 GPA and 2 AP courses. High honors, you need a 3.75 GPA and 4 AP courses, and distinguished honors, you need a 4.0 with 5 AP courses. You should have 2 forms. You should have a kind of a bright dark green, and that's your information sheet that's got this information kind of condensed onto one page for you. And then you should have your light green sheet, which is your course selection worksheet. Go ahead right now and write your name and ID number on there, and please write legibly so that we can read it. If you must write in pencil, go ahead and be sure that we can see it. So make sure you're writing dark enough. We ask that you do not use a highlighter, just mark your classes clearly with a pen or pencil. And be sure to get your teacher recommendations. There's a column, then you can have the teacher initial right by the course that they're recommending you for. In the middle column, you'll see that there's 7 choices. It says course requests. Be sure that you list your 7 courses there. List your alternates below that in the 4 boxes. If you're applying for NWTI, be sure and mark that on your form. It's on the back. And then if you're trying out or applying for something, just make a note of that on your form for us so that we see it. Sign your form, try to get a parent to sign it, and turn it in on time. So things we need you to do. We need your teacher recommendations for your advanced courses, as well as for some of your other electives. Be sure you have your teacher initial your form, and remember that they are evaluating what you've done for the whole year in their class. So they know how hard you've worked, if you're good at tests, if you have to try super hard to do well, all of that stuff that factors into their decision. And then we look at that as well. Remember that if your teacher recommends you for an advanced course, you do not have to take it, even if you're recommended. So if you feel like you're going to be overloaded somehow with your schedule, then you have the option to not take those advanced courses. Please research your classes. Don't just make random choices. Choose your alternates wisely. As you should know by now, then alternates get used and people do get scheduled into them all the time. And then make sure that you understand that you're making a commitment for a year when you choose your courses, and then turn your form in on time so we don't have to pick any classes for you. There are a lot of things that we want you to consider when you're choosing your classes for senior year. First of all, and probably most importantly, is what do you need to graduate? And then think about if you want to take advanced classes, how hard do you want to work during senior year? Are you trying to reach a goal such as honor grad or the AP capstone diploma, and what do you need to take to reach those goals? If you're an RHA student, make sure that you take at least 3 AP classes for senior year. Think about if you have failed something or maybe dropped a course that's required, and make sure that you put that back on your schedule for next year. Also consider how busy you are outside of school with things like work or sports or any kind of community service that you're doing. Think about, do you have senioritis or a new thing, which is COVID fatigue? And that's actually, they're doing a lot of research on that, and people are just tired and less motivated than they have been under normal circumstances. So consider those things as well. And then finally, think about what you're good at and what you can take to help prepare you for college or future careers. And seniors, unless you are pre-approved for the work-based learning program, that would mean that Dr. Woodruff or Ms. Cox has already signed a form for you saying that you're approved. You must sign up for 7 classes. You have the option this year to take AP or ECE. ECE is your college courses like Comp 1, Comp 2, College Algebra, College Trig, and College Finite. And then you've got a whole bunch of AP courses that you can choose from as well. So AP courses are typically the most rigorous options. They're based on an international curriculum, and they're recognized at all colleges basically throughout the whole country. Your ECE courses are NWAC courses, and they are recognized in the state of Arkansas, but they might not be recognized outside of the state of Arkansas. So kind of use that when you're making your decisions. If you know you want to go to a highly selective out-of-state school, you probably want to lean towards AP. But if you know you're going to go to college in Arkansas, then you're probably fine taking an ECE class. ECE classes do not meet the requirements for honor grad or RHA. And a note with ECE classes, if you should drop that class or fail it, it does show up on a college transcript, and it can actually impact future financial aid later. Test scores are required for ECE courses, so I'm just going to go over this quickly. If you're trying to get into College Composition 1, you need a reading ACT of 19 and an English ACT of 19. For College Algebra, you need Algebra 2, a reading ACT of 19, and a math ACT of 21. To get into Comp 2, College Finite Math, or College Trig, you need to pass those preliminary courses, which is Comp 1 and College Algebra. You need to pass those with a C or higher, and then you can move on to the next course. So when you're researching your classes, be sure you read the descriptions in the course catalog, talk to current teachers, and ask students who are in specific courses, and they'll give you some information about the courses. Be sure and use the materials in the new Google Classroom, and refer to Naviance for your student success plan and the career assessments. You guys will use Naviance, some this year and more next year. You'll use it for things like ordering your senior transcripts and filling out your Common App forms. But if you have not used Naviance yet, I encourage you to get in there. There are some great assessments that you can do. There's the Strength Explorer, the Career Cluster Finder, and the Career Interest Profiler. And all of those are really good at helping point you towards careers that you might be good at. So if you've not logged into Naviance, we encourage you to do that. And I've got the link and your login information on this slide for you. So on your form, you'll notice that in the middle column, it says English and Math in the course request box. That's because everybody has to have an English, and you've got a lot of options this year. You've got English 4, Transitional English 12, AP Literature, or AP English Language if you didn't take it as a junior, and then you've got the option for Comp 1 and 2. So use your teacher recommendations as well, and your goals, and that'll help you select the right English class for you. For math, it's going to be the next course in sequence, so it could be different for all of you because based on what you're in right now and how you're doing in those math courses. So teacher recommendations are very important for your math. So what if you already have 4 maths? Say you're in your 4th math your junior year and you don't really need one senior year. If you are college bound, and I'm talking about community college, NWTI, or Harvard, if you're college bound at all, you need a math your senior year. So remember that some classes require tryouts or applications, and you cannot just sign yourself up for those. So if you're wanting to take something that does require a tryout, do not choose it as one of your 7. Make a note on your form of what you want to swap out if you're successful. If you're in a sport, you can sign yourself up for the same sport, but not a different sport. If you are in football, listen up. You do not take football second semester in the 12th grade. You need to find something that says .5 and choose a class to go opposite of football. Some classes do require prerequisites, so look at that as you're making your choices. And again, 7 credit classes and 4 alternates. Do not choose study hall or TA. This year we weren't able to have TAs at all, and we may not be able to next year as well. And study hall has to be kept tiny, and it's kind of just used at our discretion. So be sure you choose 7 credit classes. This is just to remind you of the things that you have to try out for that we cannot just put on your schedule. So athletics, any new sports that you're trying to do, you've got to try out first. Cheer and Palm, you have to try out every year. Yearbook and newspaper, you have to be approved the first year and then recommended for the following years. Show choir and some of the advanced choirs, they require an audition, and then Dr. Fox will tell us where to place you. Library aid requires an application. Work-based learning requires an application. And any of the ECE courses, the AA program, or the SCC programs all require an application and possibly test scores. We do partner with the SCC, which is the Secondary Career Center, and we have programs offered through NWTI and NWAC. These all require a 2.0 GPA, and you have to have your own transportation. There are some really awesome opportunities for you guys as far as career and trades that you can learn. We have automotive and diesel technology, medical programs such as CNA, dental assisting, EMR, and abnormal psychology. There is criminal justice, culinary arts, welding, all kinds of stuff. If you're interested in those programs, you do have to be in good shape credit-wise because you're going to be off campus for multiple periods. You do have to have your own transportation. You do have to apply and be accepted. And some of these programs do require test scores. So to apply, you can click the little button here, or it's also posted in Google Classroom, and fill out the application. Let your counselor know what program you're applying for, and make sure you do all that before March 1st. What's new this year? There is a new math course called Technical Math for College and Career. It can be your 4th math, so if your teacher recommends that, then that might be a good fit for you. There's also a class called Capstone that's for seniors only, and that's a half credit class for some of you that are looking for a 1 semester option. That class is designed to help you bridge the gap between high school and going out into the real world, and so that might be a good option for some of y'all. Foundations of Teaching is a full year class, and it's just like it sounds. It's going to teach you, if you're interested in the field of education, it's going to give you that foundation. Fashion and Interior Design, another one that's just like it sounds. So if you're interested in design of any kind, that's a great course for you. Don't sign up for the advanced one because you all have to take the regular Fashion and Interior Design class first. And then Foundations of Sports Medicine, that's a new offering that does not have any prereqs, and anyone can sign up for that. Other options your senior year, these 2 programs get a lot of questions, a lot of interest. One is work-based learning, and that is more commonly known as the work program. It is tied to a class called internship. So you take the internship class, you have at least 5 classes on campus, and then you can get out 1 to 2 periods early. Whether it's 1 period or 2 period depends on your credits. So if you have room to get out 2 periods early, then we'll allow you to leave 2 periods early. If you need 6 classes, then you'll have to be here for 6 periods. You do get to earn 2 credits in 1 year just for the 1 class, and you have to have a job by the 10th day of school. The program will fill up, so if you're interested, you need to get busy and go ahead and apply now. And again, you have to pick 7 classes unless you've been pre-approved by either Ms. Cox or Dr. Woodruff. If you're pre-approved, we can go ahead and schedule you into it. If not, you have to pick 7 other classes. Outdoor Ed is probably one of our most popular electives, and something cool about Outdoor Ed is you can earn 1.5 credits for a 1 period class. You do have to take the class all year long. It's what's called an integrated class, so you're learning both the science and the PE portion of the class all year long. You can earn a science credit, a half PE credit, or elective credit, depending on what you need. And again, the class will fill up, so choose it as one of your 7. If you put it on your alternate list, you're not very likely to get it. I think I've mentioned all of these scheduling dues, but I'm going to go through them real quickly. We want you to pick 7 classes, 4 alternates, get your teacher recs, choose your courses wisely, and do your research, and turn your course selection form in on time. The don'ts: do not make your counselor pick your classes. Don't pick classes just because your friend is. Don't leave your alternates blank. Don't forget to turn in your form. Don't miss important deadlines. And don't sign up for more than you can handle next year. Some very important dates for you. February 23rd is the ACT for juniors. What that means for you is that you need to take that test super seriously, do your best on it. We can use those scores to qualify you for things like ECE courses or NWAC courses, those NWTI programs, anything like that. So please take that test very seriously. February 22nd, 24th, and 25th, those are the days that you're going to meet individually with your counselor. That is done through your English class. And while some of you guys are going to request that we meet before that, time does not allow us to do that. So just write down your questions and you'll meet with us one-on-one on those 3 days. February 26th is your last day to turn in course request forms. March 1st is the deadline for those SCC and NWTI programs. March 31st is the last day to turn in test scores for your ECE request. March 31st is also the last day to make changes to your 21-22 request. After March 31st, we will make schedule corrections, but not changes. This year, we've got all kinds of people out of the building for a lot of different reasons. So some of you are in the AA program, or you might be on the 2-week remote permit. You might be attending RVL. You might have been quarantined during this time, and hopefully you don't have COVID, but maybe some of you do. But it's going to be a little different this year because we're not going to be able to meet with every single student if you're not in person. So here's what we ask you to do. For everybody, we want you to check your RPS 30 email. That's how we are going to communicate with you. If you're not here during an English class, then you will get an email about choosing your classes. If you're in the AA program, you can go ahead and email your counselor with the name of the 2 classes that you want to take at the RHS campus. If you're on a remote permit, and maybe if you're RVL hybrid, we're going to ask that you try to come to your English class in person so that we can go ahead and have that individual meeting with you. If not, we'll have to do things through email. And then if you are quarantined or full-time RVL, then we'll work with you through email. We will be able to do limited Zooms, but there's no way we'll be able to Zoom with everybody that's off campus. So we just ask that you communicate as much as possible through email or try to come in person with your English class. Final notes, double check everything. Make sure you've got teacher recs, 7 classes, and 4 alternates. Be aware of the credits that you have and you still need for graduation. Sign your form and try to get a parent signature, but turn it in anyway because it's due on the deadline. You will meet individually with your counselor through your English class, and that's when we'll review your selections. And then after March 31st, everything is final, and after that, we'll make corrections and not changes. If you don't turn in a form at all by the deadline, then we have to make up a schedule for you. And we know that you guys will have questions. Most of you guys are already plugged into our Remind or you know how to email us, but that information is here for you. When you do have questions, please just email us. We will try to answer this for you, and we look forward to working with you to finalize your senior year request.